Maybe I'll get a hold of Casey right now during the show. Good evening, everybody. It's another edition of WrestleManiax, live on the Dr. Earl channel here. And tonight we were going to be discussing wrestlers who had to turn heel in order to get themselves over with the crowd and merchandise, with the promotions, to get title shots, to earn belts and everything else. You know, some of it was the idea of the pro wrestlers themselves. Some of it was from the storylines. We're going to be taking a look at heel wrestlers that have benefited from their decision to go turn to bad guys or bad girls. And we're also going to take a look at Terry Funk, who, as you know, passed away at the age of 79. Now, prior to going live, we got this shocking announcement. Bray Wyatt has passed away at the age of 36. I'm going to go to WrestlingNews.com here. And I was in shock over this because Bray Wyatt was one of the big stars of the WWE. His gimmicks were like phenomenal. His promos were phenomenal. The ideas he had, you know, the Fiend, that cult leader, and everything else. And I got WrestlingNews.co on the computer here. It says here, quote, Triple H broke the news on his X post, formerly known as Twitter, as you know. No other details are available at the moment. Wyatt had been out of action since late February with an illness, and it was recently reported that he was getting closer to getting cleared, with creative coming up with plans for him. We send our deepest condolences to his friends and family, including his father, Mike Rotunda. Triple H's statement is now below. He said, I just received a call from WWE Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda, who informed us the tragic news that our WWE family member for life, Wyndham Rotunda, better known as Bray Wyatt, unexpectedly passed away earlier today. Our thoughts are with his family and friends, and we ask that everyone respect their privacy at this time. And right now, as I speak these words, a friend of mine in Arlington, Texas, named Alyssa, just gave me the news right now through Facebook Messenger. I'm going to let her know about this. And let me do it this way through the vocal here.
That's a real shame because he's one of the good ones of the WWE that was fun to watch.
Yeah. Me and Arkanoia are doing an episode right now as we speak about this. Would you like to join in? Okay. Because I have her on my Skype contacts as well. Should wait for a response. And I'm just totally surprised by this. I mean, like, when he came back at that one pay-per-view and, you know, it's revealed that he had returned, the place went through the roof on this.
Yeah.
And this is like, he was like one of the big stars that really, when he got let go from the WWE a couple years back, many fans were pissed off. There were cries for, we want Wyatt, we want Wyatt, we want Wyatt. And the news unexpectedly is that one of the reasons why he got let go is because he didn't want creative to tamper with his gimmick. He was very protective about those gimmicks, whether it's the cult leader or the Fiend. Okay. In fact, let me respond back to Alyssa. She says, okay. Okay, I will add you in now. Okay, so here it goes. I'm going to add her onto the call right now about this whole thing. It's been a while since I talked to Alyssa, so it's good to see she's doing all right. Let me get some participants here. Let me give you a couple minutes here. I'd like to have her on the whole program to talk about the other two subjects, us, of course, being the life and career of Terry Funk, as well as, let's see, here she is. Let me find her. Okay, here we go. Let's see if she responds. Blah, blah, blah. Like I said, it's been a long time since I talked to this gal, and she's unavailable. Let me okay. I'll call you. I'm calling through Skype. Get on your Skype. I'm going to add you in. All right. Okay. All right. Give her a couple of minutes here. See what we got here. All right. So I'll give her another shot to get her on the call. Let's see what she has to say about this. All right.
Yeah, for a while that was one of the few original things that WWE was doing with the Bray Wyatt family thing.
Exactly, yeah. That was another one. Braun Strowman, Daniel Bryan was briefly a member. You know, Eric Rowan, the late Luke Harper, and Alyssa is unavailable. Oh, she's DMing
and
right
Randy
now.
Orton for a little while.
Yes, I see her. Yeah, and then he went away for a while. After that was, I just stopped by telling you about Bray Wyatt. I don't know. I don't know if she wants to be added on to the call there. I'm not too sure. Okay.
In fact, his theme that they wrote for him, I liked really well.
I know, exactly. It was a good song there. I remember that, him carrying that lantern down to the ring post, his finishing move to Sister Abigail, and the way he worked it with Alexa Bliss before his
that was good too.
That was absolutely dismissal. You know, let me call her back. I'm trying to add you into the wrestling show that me and Ark are doing. And it came out with Ark being spelled wrong. It came out that Erica, which is a dumb thing. I don't know why it does that. But then again, not many people have the same name you have. Okay. All right. So, once again.
There's another reason I picked it.
I know, yeah. This is surprisingly as well. It's like, holy cow. I'm going back to the, like I said, that one pay-per-view that they did about last year, saying that when he came out with that mask on, and how the whole place was like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. And all of a sudden he removes the mask and the place just went gangbusters. So, this is a complete surprise, unfortunately. Now, it doesn't say what happened to how he passed away. We don't know it was an illness from all that. And sadly, it's another great. And just right after we lost Terry Funk, the Texas wrestling icon. And he was the character of his own self there. He was one of those crazy old galoots ready to strike at anything. He did it in he did it in Japan wrestling. He did it with the WWF. He wrestled for a while within WCW. And so I figured
WCCW.
ECW, yes. In fact,
WCCW.
Ah, that's
Dallas
right.
Organization.
Ah, that's right. World Class Championship Wrestling. My bad. So, hailing from Amarillo, Texas, he was like one of the kind just as well. I guess he was managed by Jimmy Hart, the Mouth in the South, in the WWF years. And he was, I guess, when he was first brought in, one of the first things he did was he gave Mel Phillips a brutal beating, because Mel Phillips, well, I guess it was the guy that takes the attire from the wrestlers and places it in the back room. His hands was like, got all this stuff, so he places the cowboy hat that Funk wore on his head on top of his head, Funk took offense to that, throws in Mel Phillips and starts beating the crap out of him. And apparently, according to to a storyline, he was supposed to have this score to settle with JYD, the Junkyard Dog, who, as you know, is no longer with us. Now they had their few beer bouts here and there. Of course, he even went after Hulk Hogan for the title, the world title that he had at the time there. And of course, he lost, and this was on, of course, a Saturday night's main event on NBC late at night on Saturday evening. There, it was like that's one of the top shows. I guess they did it once a month on that network, a couple times. Now, Funk, I don't know what happened to him. I mean, he would later move on, I guess, to WCW, where he would wrestle Ric Flair for the world title. Yeah, I guess he was a babyface then, a heel, apparently. Then he got involved with WCW alongside Mick Foley's Cactus Jack. And you may remember the one clip that I mentioned yesterday. I'm not too sure if you saw it, but it is historic and a half. I guess Cactus Jack and Terry Funk, I guess they had some guy, and everybody started throwing chairs into the ring out of the blue. Funk gets hit in the head by a chair and automatically sells it like a boss. Joey Styles is yelled out, "Stop throwing chairs in the ring! Stop throwing chairs! Stop with the chairs!" And the moment he says that, a trash can is thrown into the side of the ring there. Oh gosh. And it's happened a couple other times. It happened in TNA wrestling where the Dudley Boys were out there. It also happened in a couple of independent promotions just as well. Combat Zone Wrestling was one of them just as well. And my heart goes out to all the roadies out there who have to pick all the chairs out from that ring there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because some of them do get tangled, from what I understand. But back to Terry Funk, he was featured in that movie Beyond the Mat. I guess he was having some sort of a knee issue. And I guess, was he doing financially well at that time that movie came out, or was he close to Skid Row, doing all the independent shows?
I'm not real sure on that one. I'm sure he took care of his money, but...
Yeah. Of course, so rumors would go out that he was having, I'm not too sure if it was true, but apparently he may have been having some mental issues because of all the bumps he was taking on the head. The same thing with Perry Saturn, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and of course the Big Satan there, Chris Benoit. And he cannot forget, of course, the fact that he had that branding iron covered with some sort of a marker pencil or a paint or something, because he would use that on his opponents after he win over them, like the finishing thing there. Now, Funk, it doesn't, I guess, we don't know if it was the illness or whichever it was, but either way, he's no longer with us. Terry Funk, along with now Bray Wyatt, is now gone. And it was just a complete shock for all of us. So, not only rest in peace to Terry Funk, dead at the age of 79, but also rest in peace to, just now, Bray Wyatt, a.k.a. Wyndham Rotunda, dead at age 36. And I don't know what we could say anymore because, gosh, it's sad. Very, very sad. It's like the WWE was like really hoping that we see Wyatt back in his full potential with the shock, this shocking stuff that he would do, whether it's the Firefly Funhouse, the Cult Leader, the Fiend, and all that. Wow. Oh, and Costanza in my chat there says, Funk was also Chainsaw Charlie in the WWF around the 1998. Indeed, he was. Thank you for pointing that out. And what's up to Steve Callan? He says, hey, we say hi back to him. All right, if you're on Skype, Steve, let me know. We can add you in the call if you wish. And Costanza, if you want to be added in as well, let us know in the chat. And wow, this is a complete shock to every one of us, you know. Bray Wyatt, dead at the age of 36. Very shockingly. All right there. So, shall we get to the main topic, which is wrestlers turning heel to gain recognition? Shall we?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
I guess the two biggest ones would be Roman Reigns and Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely, yeah. Hulk Hogan. Now, let's keep in mind that Hogan was a heel when he first got into, I guess it was called the WWF at that time. His manager was Classy Freddie Blassie, you know, who was a heel in his own right, who did anything for money, used to turn pencil neck geek on everybody out there.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize Hulk was a heel when he first came in.
Exactly there, because we're so used to the I am a real American, the all-American hero, the do-gooder, the hero of the day, the one who comes and makes a save at the last minute. I mean, like, he was a do-gooder for a long time there. Surely the WWF became the WWF. It was when he won the world title from the Iron Sheik, that's when Hulkamania was officially born. And that Hulkamania stayed through a lot of good number of years. Even when he lost the title to either the Ultimate Warrior or Randy Macho Man Savage, Hulkamania was still there. When he joined WCW, Hulkamania was kind of like somewhat there, but it was mainly on life support because the say your prayers, train, eat your vitamins, idea, persona, as they would call it, had just worn out. This was in a different decade, you know, it kind of like it's getting stale. And plus, Hulk Hogan had to answer back to some issues that apparently he did a lot of steroids. Not many fans were happy with that one. I know this book, Hogan detailed that fans are holding up signs regarding that claim there. In fact, one of the people who made that claim was Dr. D. David Schultz, who also was a big top heel in the WWF. Remember, he was a full character when he smacked the crap out of John Stasso, damaging his hearing for life.
Yeah, but he didn't actually turn heel. He was always a heel.
Exactly, yeah. I guess now he's a heel to only the crooks that he catches as a bounty hunter. He does that full time now. So much credit for him. Kind of like the same along with Dwayne Dog Chapman and Boba Fett.
Yep.
Yes. Now, when Hogan became the bad guy in that Bash at the Beach in 1996, who wasn't shocked at the time when we all saw that? I saw that at a club called Lipsticks. They had it on the TV there. And they had Hall and Nash in the ring, who was supposed to be coming in to take over WCW. And then, boom, here comes Hogan to supposedly make the save, but dropping the leg drop on Savage. And then, boom, wow, holy cow.
Yeah.
We all were shocked. And who cannot forget the amounts of garbage and trash being tossed right into the ring when that happened?
Yeah, that was definitely a huge surprise.
Big surprise because nobody ever expected that to happen. And you know what? Hogan gave the okay for it to become a heel. Because when Bischoff came in with that idea, Hogan really wasn't interested. And then, boom, a couple weeks later, while he was filming that show Thunder in Paradise, in which he was a co-star on, which ran on the same network, TNT, Hogan asked Bischoff, are you still looking for that third man in that NWO faction that you came up with? And Bischoff said, yes, I am. Hogan said, you know what, that third man should be me. And wouldn't you know, it worked. Hollywood Hogan was born. And then the NWO just surprisingly took off like it did. A lot of goth kids were wearing a lot of NWO merchandise, including the original black and white t-shirt. You know, because it was anti-establishment. That was all the 1990s was about, anti-establishment. Hulkamania was cheesy establishment. Here comes Hollywood Hogan with Hall and Nash and everybody else on board, including Scott Steiner, Buff Bagwell, Scott Norton, Horace Hogan. You know, for a while they even had Paul Wyatt, then known as the Giant. And you know what? It wore its that kind of wore its welcome out around 1999 there, when the after the two factions, the NWO Wolfpack and NWO Hollywood, kind of like came back together there. And what's kind of even more funny is that it fits to say that Hulk Hogan put wrestling into the mainstream world not once but twice. Once in the 1980s as the top All-American hero, and again in the 1990s as the evil wrongdoer, the heel.
Yeah, because he's actually good at both of those.
Exactly. Now, Roman Reigns, you mentioned. They were talking about turning him heel for a long while there, because the WWE was trying to push him down their throats as the next babyface, and fans are getting sick and tired of that. Fans are getting fed up with it because, you know, like, we were seeing him all the time on Raw or SmackDown or whichever of those shows.
Yeah, they were shoving him down our throat.
Yes.
And of course, he was Mr. Good Guy.
Yeah, trying to make him like the top-notch. It's kind of like this version of the more darker version of Superman, hence the Superman punch that he had used many times in the past. All of a sudden, during the pandemic, he came up with the idea that Paul Heyman, who was supposed to be the advocate for Brock Lesnar, who was often cited as the heel and often babyface at times there, he comes up and approaches Reigns about joining forces with him. Reigns decides to take up on the offer. Later on, they pick up the Usos and that Solo Silka, whatever his last name is, Sikla, or anybody knows in the chat, let me know. And then next you know, the bloodline is formed. They get Sami Zayn in there, and a lot of funny shit goes down there in terms of Sami Zayn and the things he says. You know, like, who cannot forget that one time where Reigns and Jey Uso were trying not to break character when he said, Jey is not himself. He's just not feeling oozy. And everybody knew that they were trying to keep their composure and not break character. And that's what made that segment so awesome, like it was. It was.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one we got to throw in. Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Yes, he turned against his big brother Bret to hit my heart, basically because to find his own identity, to get so people would appreciate him, because he stated in an interview why he was getting frustrated with Bret. It's because he's under Bret's shadow. Bret at the time was the World Wrestling Federation World Champion. And he was getting he was the talk of the town. Instead of being the hitman, he was now the man. And basically, Hart was the youngest of the kids. He decided, to turn against his brother in order to get recognition, to get noticed, to get attention. They often say is that it doesn't matter what kind of attention you get when you do something good or bad, as long as you're getting that attention.
Right.
Yeah. And the actions of Owen Hart basically describe that to the full max. And the same thing would possibly Dominic Mysterio, who turned against his father, Rey Mysterio, to hook up with the heel faction, the Judgment Day. And I don't know whose idea was to put him with Rhea Ripley, but there's a YouTube channel called Dom and Mommy, which is often what they often call Rhea. There's these YouTube shorts of them, somewhat close together, like in a romantic angle. We've yet to see them kiss in the ring during the storyline, but the way they act at times is like makes you wonder: are they really romantically involved? Well, the truth is no. Dominique is engaged to his girlfriend, and Rhea Ripley recently got engaged to her man, Buddy Matthews, who used to be Buddy Murphy in the WWE. Now, another one who was heel for a while, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Yes.
He turned on the
Shield.
Shield, yeah.
Yes, that was a shocking thing. In fact, I guess Reigns in one of the promos he did against Rollins, where they confronted each other before a match, he said, "You destroyed a brotherhood. We can never forgive you for that." And yeah, that's going deep there when you think about it, because when somebody does that to a faction, everyone is like shocked. We never expected it to happen. But probably one of the biggest all-time approving heel turns was Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
People were hoping for her to turn heel because she would end up losing in that triple threat match against Charlotte Flair, her, and I forgot, was it Liv Morgan, if I'm correct? But
I don't remember.
But yeah, now they got up. Both gals got up. Charlotte wins the women's title. Becky's heartbroken, but she hugs Charlotte. They hug each other in the embrace of their friendship and stuff. The may the best man win. I'm glad you won it instead of me. That kind of bullshit. Then all of a sudden, boom! Charlotte gets laid out by a clothesline from Becky Lynch. Place pops like crazy. The place erupts with cheers. Now, usually a heel turn doesn't get any good pops like that. They usually get boos. They usually get shit thrown at them. Look at what happened with Ole Anderson turning against Dusty Rhodes back in 1980. I saw footage of that. Fans were throwing shit in the ring there towards Ole Anderson. And this was in a cage match against Ivan Koloff and some other Russian, if I remember. That was a big shock.
Just trying to remember the name of who it could have been. Mm-hmm. Crusher Khrushchev, no.
Crusher Khrushchev? Oh, you mean Barry Darsow.
Right.
That was his real name.
Might not have been him, though. Because I know Koloff had a brother. I forgot his name, though.
You mean Nikita Koloff?
Well, it's Ivan Koloff and Nikita Koloff.
Yes, and Crusher Khrushchev, the Russians, as they were just known in the NWA days. And I guess Crusher Khrushchev's gimmick was that he was born in Russia, raised in USA, and he decided to side with the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Darsow, we got to give him credit because he's been a lot of characters throughout his wrestling career. He was one half of Demolition, which was often cited as the Road Warriors ripoff. He was the Repo Man for a while, who took on Roddy Piper in a couple matches. Oh, we cannot forget Roddy Piper. Right. He was a massive heel in the early WWF golden era days there. In fact, probably one of the big reasons why he never wore the world title was because McMahon figured, man, this guy is so over, he doesn't need a title.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Now, a big heel turn that I remember that you may not know about because it happened in WCCW when I was watching that. Uh, there was a character there known as Brian Adidas, who was a friend of the Von Erichs,
Ah,
and he turned on him. Real
wow.
shocker at the time. I mean, it was like he went to school with these boys, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. But he turned on him and went bad. And so
Wow.
did the Iceman King Parsons.
Yes, I remember
At
that.
one time turned also.
On
Gentleman Chris Adams.
Gentleman Chris Adams. Wow, interesting. I think there was another heel turn that happened according to Gentleman Chris Adams. Apparently, Gino Fernandez, I think his name was.
Gino Hernandez, yeah.
Yeah, Gino Hernandez. I guess
they were a tag team partner, and one of them turned on the other one. I forget which one.
It was Hernandez turning on Adams.
Pretty much right away, Hernandez died.
Exactly. I was going to bring up, shortly after that, he passed away. Did he say what was up with that or something? Was it overdose or accidental or health issues?
Well, I think it turned out to be an overdose, but I'm not real sure of that.
If it was an overdose, we're not surprised because, wrestlers at that time, then and now, did a lot of prescription medications or overdid their prescripts because of all the bumps and bruises and the pain they felt in their bones.
Well, that was kind of a shame because Fernandez was poised to be a big one. He quite likely would have eventually been a world champion.
Yeah. Wow.
But he was on his way.
Yeah, and unfortunately he was taken from us way too soon. And this was in the early 80s. I think it was 86, 87, I think it was when this occurred.
I believe that was right.
Yeah, way in the 80s. That's when I was getting into pro wrestling big time there. I was reading all the magazines, learning about all these other wrestlers, watching the NWA on the Superstation every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it was not a long time after David Von Erich died.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Then you had Bruiser Brody.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh,
murdered.
Murdered. Yeah, I heard about that. That was a shocker, man. This guy, like, if I understand, he got a knife in the somewhere in the heart by one of the promoters, so I understand.
Yeah, in a shower in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
The guy got away with it.
Wow. Because I guess the laws are kind of different than what they are in states compared to Puerto Rico.
And the guy was a big hero, and they didn't want to mess with him.
Wow, I see there. Also remembering, we know this guy who did a couple of heel turns, and basically he admitted himself in an interview and on a podcast that he said that he does better as a heel. I'm of course referring to the man doing the that's helped running the WWE right now, Triple H, Paul Levesque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day, another guy that turned heel on his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Pistol Pez Watley?
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember hearing the name a few times while watching NWA wrestling.
Yeah, he turned and joined the Johnny Dangerously.
The Dangerous Alliance with Johnny Paul E. Dangerously.
Yeah, that's the one.
Paul, which we all know would later go by his real name, Paul Heyman.
But that was one of those kind of actions.
Yes.
And of course, you have the people that were always heels. Jimmy Cornette's group, Midnight Express.
Yep. Yeah, they were always they had a babyface run for a while there, taking on Ole Anderson and Tully Blanchard. I think in one of his promos, he referred to J.J. Dillon as 1988's poster boy for Alzheimer's disease. Yes, credit to Cornette. He knows how to give those promos for shizzle.
Yeah.
He does. That's not, we also cannot forget Ric Flair. He was many times heel. Yep, back and forth. Babyface heel. Like, geez, make up your mind, dude. But then again, whatever the creative department comes up with you, that's what you gotta go with.
Yeah.
Now, I gotta mention this heel turn, Stone Cold Steve Austin, back around 2001. Apparently, that was Austin's idea to become the bad guy. Be a part of the alliance story, aligning himself with WCW and ECW, along with Shane and Stephanie McMahon turning on their father. And I guess Austin said in an interview with, I guess it was him and Vince Russo, they were having a conversation. And Russo wanted to know what was the deal with that. And Austin said that he was injured at the time. He couldn't really do anything. He figured he'd give us a new life into the Austin character. Something different. And some say, many people were not happy when Austin did his second heel turn, because that's what he originally came in as, under the direction of the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. And actually, he got his start in WCCW.
Yeah.
Chris Adams trained him, and his name at the time was Steve Williams, which obviously that had to change.
Yeah, because of Dr. Death Steve Williams, rest in peace.
And he got involved in an angle in WCCW where he was messing with Chris Adams' wife.
Mm.
And they had a big blowout over all of that.
Yeah. We can't forget Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog. Him and Lex Luger were like the United Powers for a short while. Then all of a sudden, he turns on. I guess Diesel was looking for a tag team partner. Bulldog offered his services, and during the match, Bulldog turns on Diesel. And the reason why he did that, according to a couple promos, is that people were shouting USA, USA, USA. And you got to remember, Davey Boy Smith was from England. And he was getting sick of it. It's like, geez, you're disrespecting me, my country. Oh, speaking of disrespect, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, when he first appeared as Rocky Maivia back in the day there, people were like saying things like Rocky sucks, die Rocky die, and that was getting on Rocky Maivia's terms, and then in the end that caused him to join the Nation of Domination, fronted by Farouk Ron Simmons.
Right.
Yes. And during one of the promos, when he turned on and joined the corporation headed up by Mr. McMahon, he said, "The Rock has not forgotten the chance of die Rocky die, and Rocky sucks."
Yeah.
And
then, of course, another big heel turn was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Oh, man,
the barbershop segment.
Yes, I remember when he apparently threw Jannetty's head right through the glass. Well, actually, it was the fake glass, for that matter.
Well, yeah.
And who cannot forget what Bobby Heenan said at the announcer's table? Oh, he was Jannetty's so scared he went right through the windows because he was scared of Shawn Michaels. And Monsoon was like, "Oh, give me a break."
Yeah.
That was one of the most memorable moments. And of course, Heenan himself, one of the top greatest heel managers of all time. He was a character and a half, believe it or not. He is definitely missed. In fact, it fits to say that people say JR and the King Lawler were the best commentary team for the WWF. I'd still say it was Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, because those two had a unanimously powerful chemistry between those two. Me and my dad will watch primetime wrestling where those two go at it left or right. The chemistry was just dynamic, and sadly, both are no longer with us, sadly. Very sadly. Yeah. Oh, man. What about, I'm thinking about, speaking of Vince McMahon, who cannot forget his heel turn, which helped started the Attitude Era? And the story was, after the Montreal Screwjob, which was McMahon's idea, McMahon tried to do this 30-minute promo talking about Bret Hart and how Bret Hart was this and that. He was expecting the people to buy into what McMahon was saying, what he was saying, that is. People were not accepting it. People were booing him left or right whenever he walked into the arena to be either announcer or do something there. People booing him left and right. And McMahon, you know what, decided, let's run with this thing. Let's take this thing to a new level. And that's where the Mr. McMahon character was then born. And sadly, not really sadly, but it meant a lot of big business for the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And also gave way to the storyline between Austin and McMahon. Because you remember, when Austin soon became the good guy, after Bret Hart started turning heels, which you got to talk about that, McMahon wanted to change Austin into being a role model, a well-respected individual. That's what he expected everybody in his company to be, role models. Austin didn't want to be that. He wanted to be Austin. Drink beer, crank some music in his pickup truck. McMahon wasn't having it that. So he would try to make life hell for Austin. And that's when the beef between those two started big time. And let's not forget the double turn that occurred at that one pay-per-view event where Austin was bleeding out of his head, I guess. Austin later basically he became the good guy, and Bret Hart started becoming the bad guy because of his frustrations on A, trying to win back the world title, and B, the fact that Shawn Michaels won the title from him a couple years earlier. And I guess to the Hitman's eyes, Shawn Michaels was this a playboy, David Lee Roth wannabe, who didn't stand for the right values, the right things at that time. You're a role model, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, blah, blah, blah. And then, next thing you know, that there was this turn where he lost to The Undertaker in a steel cage match. Austin interfered. He originally tried to help Bret win, so it would be Austin and Hart. All of a sudden, something screws up. And then, Bret loses the match. Bret is all in the rings, pissed off, frustrated. McMahon tries to talk to him. I understand you're very frustrated. McMahon gets pushed to the ground. Hart grabs the microphone. You want to see pissed off? You want to see frustrated? I'll show you frustrated. And a GD thing out there. Man, every curse word was coming out there you wouldn't believe, except for the F-bomb, of course. And then all of a sudden, Steve Austin comes out on the Titantron and says, "Hey, Bret, I tried to help you. You're just a loser." Sid Vicious, who at the time was the world champion, he comes out there and says, "Hey, I didn't do shit." And it was loud enough for everybody to hear. Next thing you know, we had this big brawl in the ring. Austin, Undertaker, Hart, and Vicious all together. But then again, you also got to see the frustrations that one has. When someone is that frustrated, trying to achieve something, but yet every brick wall is laid in front of your face, of course you're going to get angry, of course you're going to get frustrated, and you're going to take out that frustration on whoever and whatever you can.
Whatever's handy.
Exactly. Now, I don't know if you were aware of this, but when Becky Lynch turned heel, like she did back, I guess it was 2018, if I'm correct?
Sounds right.
I did a video commentating on that and how possibly one of the reasons why she did it. And it was about, of course, frustration.
Right.
Like you're trying to achieve that certain point, whether it's a promotion or getting that girlfriend, and all of a sudden that girl dumps you for somebody else. You're left all alone, empty-handed. That promotion you're trying to get at work goes to somebody else, someone that is not of your liking. You felt you should have got that promotion, you should have got that pay raise, you should have got that peak that could have benefited you in the long run, and yet it goes to somebody else. You're going to be angry.
Right.
You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be out for blood. You're going to dig your nails right into the deep into their skulls or tear their brains out. You're going to go crazy. You know, that's obviously the big reasons why. Sometimes people get sick and tired of trying to be the do goody good, trying to be the Dudley do right, and just, you know, it gets frustrating after a while, and especially when that do gooding doesn't do any good.
Right.
Yes. So you're gonna have to do something there to preserve yourself and your career. And a lot of times, people had to do the turn heel in order to save their career. It happened with the honky tonk man, Wade Ferris.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was not popular, trying to be the good guy,
He was.
and he just suddenly, okay, if you don't want me to be the good guy, here, and turned.
Yes, and he decided to hook up with the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And he really took out that frustration. I'm glad you people like me. Yeah, but honky tonk, they don't like you. Oh, I know you all like me. I know that. I so appreciate it. He was taunting the audience in some of those promos because he was trying to get himself liked by everybody else. He was trying to be the baby face, but they weren't having it because I don't know what it was, but I guess the rockabilly thing was kind of deceased and dead at that point, whereas back in the early 80s it was booming thanks to the Stray Cats and Jimmy and the Mustangs. But
Yeah.
But at that time, later on in the 80s, that scene had died out. Then here comes this guy trying to be the next incarnation of Elvis Presley. That wasn't working out. So I guess, Wade Ferris decided, along with the WWF writers and creators, say, hey, let's make me a bad guy. That will get me over. And in a lot of ways, it worked. It worked big time, yes.
He had a nice big career because of that.
Yep. Came the first Intercontinental Champion, longest running Intercontinental Champion when you think about it there. I guess that was a record breaker and a half.
Yeah, he was mighty popular.
He was, kind of, popular.
In a different kind of way.
Exactly, yes. He basically got himself over big time there. All right, so I know one thing that really, I'm going to talk about something here that was kind of like a ripoff of the corporation, Vince McMahon's faction during the Attitude Era. Eric Bischoff, Vince Russo had the new blood. That didn't really work that well, unfortunately. This was when Bischoff and Russo were brought back into WCW after both being let go for a couple of months. And needless to say, that's when the company really started going downhill big time. Because they were trying to recreate that corporation, out with the old, in with the new. Hogan is done. Sting is done. This wrestler is done. That is done. And it didn't pan out so well, needless to say. Bischoff would later have issues with Russo, and he would step back for a while there. And Russo was basically running the company creative-wise. And Russo, give him credit, do you think he is a good heel during his run with WCW and TNA later on?
Yeah, actually.
Yes. And I guess when he I guess he was briefly involved in Pro Mountain Wrestling, I guess it was called.
Yeah,
he often appeared on that program a couple times, as the heel there.
yeah.
He had an arrogant New Yorker who was trying to run things his way on the highway. And also, let's not forget, he was also the voice behind the Powers That Be, just as well. I guess that was an idea suggested by Kevin Sullivan, who we also got to talk about, one of the most sickest, most demented heels in pro wrestling.
Yeah, he pretty much stayed a heel.
Exactly, and he was a babyface during the early years, around 1980, 81 there. And give him his due. He portrayed himself as kind of like the original Marilyn Manson, supposed to be this satanic, pro wrestler who worshipped this evil being known as the chairman of the board, quote unquote. I guess he kind of figured out what he was trying to talk about there. And by the way, for the record, Sullivan was never really a devil worshiper. He was a Catholic who became that character, and he portrayed that character for ages and ages and ages, and still people remember him for that just as well. He later
kind of like the guy that was doing it in TNA. I forgot his name.
Which one? TNA. Oh, Abyss.
No. The manager guy.
Manager guy. Oh, Father James Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He
I
was
can.
doing the same thing.
Exactly. I remember. I think he was involved with ECW for a while there. I guess he was trying to console with Raven for a while, and Paul Heyman just said, "Get the hell out of here!" He had, of course, Heyman with his cell phone at the time in his hand, as always. That's one of his original gimmicks there, or props, as you should say. Look, he was giving Raven all sorts of hell. Get off of your feet, blah blah blah. You go down this time. I'm not bailing you out, blah blah blah. There, you know. You got to give it up to Heyman because he wanted to be like someone like in Vince McMahon's shoes there, and he ended up being there with ECW. What do you think about it? Now I'm not too sure who the top heels were in the ECW era. I think one of them may have been Sabu.
I don't think he was a heel. I saw some ECW, very little.
All right, Carlos Cabral, shout out to you and in my chat there. Let me know in the chat if you want to be added on to the call, dude. We're discussing, turning heel to benefit yourself there. In fact, I'm going to see if I can add, Carlos to the mix. Give me a couple minutes here.
I think Sandman was basically a
hero.
babyface, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah, because whenever Metallica's Enter Sandman would play, the audience would just interrupt, and there was Sandman, who was their version of Stone Cold Steve Austin, hence the beer drinking and carrying the candlestick, whereas Austin didn't really need one. He had just had himself. Let's see if I can find. Okay, let's see if we can.
Then you had CM Punk in there for a while, but he was a good guy, straight edge the whole bit.
Exactly, and they were heels for just as well there because they were kind of. They were portrayed as heels in the WWE there, and this is when Michaels and Triple H were still doing the DX gimmick there, and give it up to Triple H during some of his promos. He knows how to deliver some good lines when he was a babyface. When it was towards Vince McMahon or whoever other wrestler that he was beefing with. All right. Okay, I'm calling you right now, Carlos Cabral. Join the call, dude. Love to hear how you're doing there in your new area there that you're living in the downtown Tampa area there. Plus, it's been a while since we spoke to one another. All right. Now, there was we got to talk about the women's division who turned heels out of the say themselves. You know any by chance? Because I remember Fabulous Moolah kind of turned on her friend Mae Young after she got put through a table by the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, and then you got Well, I think Alexa Bliss played both sides.
Yeah, she has many times before. Yes, I think Charlotte Flair played both sides a couple times as well.
Yeah, I remember when she turned on her father.
Oh yeah, exactly. Carlos, you there,
How you
man?
doing, how you doing, Doc?
What's up, Carlos? How are things hanging with you, dude?
Hold on.
All right, Carlos Cabral has joined the. There you are, dude.
Doc, have you heard that Bray Wyatt has passed away?
Yes, Ark let me know before when we went live. We just did a little article on him just now at the beginning of the program. And it's kind of odd that it just happened the day after we lose Terry Funk.
It's just, this is a sad week for professional wrestling. Unfortunately, it's he was one of a kind. Bray Wyatt
He was.
one of a kind wrestler. He was probably one of the smartest wrestlers who had a creative mindset.
He did,
It doesn't matter
absolutely.
if it's Waylon Mercy or it's that new gimmick that he revealed not that long ago. He made it work.
Yeah, Uncle Howdy.
Made it work. Uncle Howdy. He
Uncle
made
Howdy,
it
yes.
work. Bray Wyatt made it work. And
He did.
my prayers go out to IRS, Mike Rotunda.
His father,
No
yes.
parent should have to bury their child. No
I know,
parent.
it's
I'm
very
sorry.
sad. Yeah, I agree. I agree there. Absolutely. I know his heart broke. He is heartbroken for sure. I know, I guess Wyatt had a wife and kids. They're heartbroken just as well. And all the WWE fans that was waiting for him to come back and eventually popped the arena that he came back in during, I guess it was during that pay-per-view event. They're
And he also
shocked.
had,
Yeah, against Finn Balor. I was
Yes.
just talking about it
Yes.
on my live.
Hmm.
He
Yeah.
was a one of a kind wrestler, and I said this in my live not that long ago before I went to yours. There should be no drama today. This should be a Bray Wyatt tribute.
Yes, Bray Wyatt, Terry Funk tribute, because you remember he passed away as well. He was one of a kind just as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we lost a legend in the internet wrestling community today.
Yes.
And should be remembered. He should be honored.
Yes, absolutely. And I know WWE will definitely honor him just as well. Definitely, probably tomorrow night on
It's coming
SmackDown
Monday.
he'll be remembered, and on Monday
No,
as well.
SmackDown. Right. SmackDown's going to be a must-watch show tomorrow.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
must-watch. Because that's where Bray Wyatt spent most of his career, on SmackDown.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Yeah, it's just like, Carlos, since we're talking about, wrestling people turning heel, who do you think was probably one of the most successful heel turns that you remember there? Wrestlers who had to turn heel in order.
Bray,
What up?
Hulk Hogan, NWO, 1996.
Yes, I remember seeing that at a club in Michigan there when that went down. And we were talking about that earlier. That fact, that's what got the conversation underway.
Another successful fan favorite who did even better as a heel was Sabu, ECW.
Yes, I remember we were talking about what he's so
One of the most popular ECW wrestlers, but when he turned heel, the whole hardcore wrestling community took a look. Because not only because he has a dangerous wrestling style,
he is
and
definitely.
That's when everybody took a look. It's like, okay, this motherfucker is going to be more dangerous than ever now that he's a heel. I mean, he has done crazy shit as a babyface. Imagine him being a heel.
Yes, exactly. And let's not forget, Sabu is a very dangerous wrestler. Was he related by chance to the Sheik? Who you remember?
He was, yes.
Yes.
He was related.
And from what I understand, both were from Dearborn, Michigan, if I remember hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because Dearborn, Michigan's probably one of the most occupied with Arab individuals in the whole United States. I mean, like, there's a lot of Islam merchandise. There's a lot of Islamic people there. There's a lot of Arab individuals, men and women and children reside in that area there. How it happened, I do not know. It was, but yeah, either way, it's became one of the top, areas in the states where all the Arabs reside in.
For a while, the
Absolutely.
Steiner
Steiner
Brothers.
brothers were faced, and then they turned, and Scott became a great heel.
Yes, exactly. He still has that persona today. Big Papa Pump.
Today, Big Baba Pump.
Yes, I
Rick
remember.
Steiner, when he turned heel, I was like, I thought Scott was bad, but when Rick turned heel, I'm like, holy shit, lock your doors.
Yeah, and that's when his That's when his new theme music kind of like became similar to "Welcome to the Jungle," but it was like "Welcome to the Dog Pound." Wait a minute, the stream is unavailable for some reason.
Then you had Buff Bagwell.
Wait a minute. Guys, we have to, says here, stream suspended by policy violations.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
because I have a GIF. I guess one of those movable pictures of Rowdy Roddy Piper hitting Jimmy Snuka with a coconut. And that's what probably
They're
would have.
getting absolutely ridiculous with this stuff.
I know, I'm getting sick of it myself, for crying out loud. Oh gosh. Listen, I'm gonna end the show right now because I'm too pissed. Now let's back on there. I guess I'm gonna have to redo the. I don't know what the hell is going on, but I'm not too happy right now. I'm gonna feel like turning heel right now, folks. It's back live. I see there. That's good to hear. All right.
Well, it's about the time anyway.
Yeah, it is about the time, yo. Carlos, you available, man? Still available after we we're going to remain live. We'll talk. Oh, he left a call there, unfortunately. Oh, Carlos is back now. There you are.
Yeah,
Carlos?
On.
What's up? Carlos?
Yeah, I just typed in the chat. It's back on.
Yes, I saw it. It went back on. I had to use the original image that I had there. Maybe I should have, probably what I have to do is probably put a different image, probably remove this show and put up a different image, in its place sometime, maybe tonight. But, alright, so, I'll let Art go and then you and I can hang out for a couple of minutes there. Let's see how you're doing.
Alrighty, well, I'll talk to you guys.
I'm doing great.
Alright, that's good to hear.
For people to come and talk about Bray Wyatt, but man, this is a sad day.
It is. A sad day as well yesterday there with Terry Funk passing away. Two greats taken from us. I know. All right, so
I think everybody's at Joe's live because and JD from NY, I think they're at their lives because they're talking about it as well.
Yeah, there I see her. Yeah. All right, I'll definitely check out what those two have to say about it. And Carlos, are you willing to stick on the call for a while for a couple minutes there, man?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how's everything in Tampa? Everything at this place you're living in? So is it good? Everything all right?
I live in Sefner, so
you live what?
I live in Sefner, so I'm at my apartment right now. So
that's good.
It's a nice place. It's a nice place.
All right, so where's this location that you're in located at?
You know where Dr. Martin Luther King and Williams Road is?
Not yet, but I know we have a Dr. Martin Luther King back in Detroit. I remember seeing that many times in the past.
Yeah, I'm right by there.
I
I'm
see.
by Martin Luther King 301.
I see there. All right. 301?
Yep.
Because I often take 301 to get to my job and back a lot of times. In fact, I often take 301 to get to the castle on Saturday and Friday nights just as well when you get done with work.
The castle on Ybor?
Yes, exactly. Great place. You gotta check it out sometime. Have you ever been there?
I've been to Ybor, and I passed the castle, but I've never been into the castle.
Oh man, Ybor is like it fits to say that Ybor is one of those after hours areas within the state of Florida that never sleeps. Because I was surprised myself that to see all those people and all those eateries, all those bars and grills blasted up loud music out there. It's like I didn't expect that because back in the Michigan and back in Texas when I was still living there, the only time we see people out and about at that hours of the night was when one of the local sports teams won a championship, whether it's the World Series, NBA title, or Stanley Cup.
Out in Tampa in the night.
Yep. Is it always like this? Has it been like that for many years, or is
like that Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays?
Mm.
And when there's like a sports team like the Lightning or the Tampa Bay Devil Rays,
yes,
you see a lot of people out there.
I see there. Interesting. All right. Because what I expressed this in a vlog that I did about possibly just if there's something happening at the castle that I'm not interested in partaking in, I may just check out the streets of Ybor to see how it is, get the feel from the people and the vibes from the music that's coming out, blasting from the venues that is playing them. Just check it out here left and right. And it fits to say that no shit goes down in Ybor because the police are on every corner, every block, making sure everything is okay. I bet those cops get paid overtime. I'll bet you to do all that.
They do.
Yes.
You never know when something goes down and they have to arrest somebody.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Exactly, because there are I guess there are a lot of people drunk at that time, but I've yet to come across any fools, try to act all bigwig, act all the top-notch, act all big and everything else, because they've been drinking too much. Haven't seen any of that shit go down there, that's for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. So far, very few of that go down.
Yes. All right. It's pretty cool, the area there. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of glad I moved to Florida. Don't get me wrong. I miss Texas. I do miss. Texas, it was a state that saved my ass a lot of times because Michigan at the time, by the time I left, wasn't doing shit for me. And by the way, got to give it up to YR. He's like, did you watch Music Maniacs the previous night where he was talking about seeing Metallica and Pantera live at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas?
He actually went there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he said it was one of the best shows he ever saw in his life. The sound quality was top notch. Pantera was top-notch. Metallica especially was top-notch in their performance. It was a great time. He had the absolutely best time of his life. Definitely go back tomorrow night for the episode that we did where he gives us full-on review of that show.
Concert, they will tell you it's an experience. They deliver. I was thinking about going to a Metallica concert right before the pandemic hit.
I see.
So that's my goal. Hopefully next year when they come to Tampa, I plan on going.
All right. So did they already play Florida by chance?
I have to go check.
Because I was checking. Mm-hmm.
I think they did, but
Ah,
hopefully, I'm gonna look at the calendar to see when they're coming next. But I'm definitely going
all right there.
for
Yes.
sure.
Well, save a lot of money because it is expensive in terms of T-shirts, ticket sales, and everything else.
That's
Y- And I guess the drinks over there cost a lot of dough just as well.
so yeah, 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 dog. I was planning on, doing a quick live on Bray Wyatt. Like I said, I already ended it. I'm at
Uh
your
huh.
live right now.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be in the chat. I'm gonna see who else is gonna pop through.
All right there. All right there. Well, I'm gonna end the stream anyways, because I'm gonna do some reworking on this program here because of the stream interruption there. So I'm gonna have to put some new images in the
Oh yeah, yeah.
thumbnail.
Yourself.
Yeah, because I
Well,
already got told off by YouTube, the executives, about this, about that. So I'm gonna definitely work on that as soon as I'm done here. All right, there. So all right. You have a good one, Carlos, and we'll talk to you sometime soon. You and I got to do a show together. All right, sometime soon about wrestling and
absolutely,
other things. Yes.
absolutely. So,
All right.
and we gotta meet up.
Right,
Gotta meet up
definitely.
for
Yeah, that's
sure.
right.
All
We
right,
got to meet up sometime. Got to give me the
definitely.
location sometimes.
I'll see.
Definitely.
I'll see you later, Doc.
All right, you have a good one there. And like I said, we got to hook up sometime and go live on my channel for Shizzle.
Oh,
All right.
absolutely.
All right
Absolutely.
there. All right there.
Later,
All
bro.
right. Later, man. All right. And that ends tonight's episode of WrestleManiacs. With, of course, me and Arknoia. Don't forget to subscribe to Arknoia's Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Arknoia and sign up for that. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit both the notification bell and like button. And for myself, Carlos Cabral and Arknoia, you guys enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. And once again, rest in peace to both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Your work within the squared circle will definitely be missed and not forgotten. Take care, guys.